Hello and welcome to the SML podcast. This is Prime's Authority. Every season we do one episode with me and my guest on the show, Woods. What's going on, man?
What's happening, man? How we doing?
Not much. We're coming up on playoff time. We love hearing you. You're the SML Nostradamus, if you will. But before we get into your predictions, the Cleveland Browns were just eliminated from the playoffs again. What is going on in Cleveland?
I, I, I had the worst luck last night, and I'm not taking anything away from Broncos. Um, I don't know if anyone else PlayStation does this. It starts an update without notifying you, and when I play on the road, which is in hotels, I usually check that. Well, last night I didn't because it didn't tell me, hey, such and such needs an update.
Mm-hmm.
I played NYT earlier, no lag, and I get to an important game, which I need, and the game was horrible for me. I did a lot of running, which I don't usually run 25 times a game, but I did last night. But I lost, so I'm not gonna take anything away from the Broncos. When he beat me, so I won't use lag as an excuse. I would like to have had more control over what I was doing.
Now, I'm going to ask a heavy hitting question here. A lot of people would agree with me, I think, when I say this Cleveland Browns team you have, very stacked on defense. You've got a very solid quarterback in Baker Mayfield, solid running back, good receivers, and something's just not firing at all cylinders. What is the fix? What can you do to get this turned around? Because I had predicted you to possibly represent the AFC in a Super Bowl at some point this cycle, and you're struggling to make the playoffs.
Yeah, this is what our third season. I've only made the playoffs once, and that was last season.
Yes.
Um, First season was horrible, even though I finished 8-8. Um, Last season had some stupid losses. I mean, I'll be honest with you, and it's a question I ask myself. There are times where my identity from game to game goes from I'm going to run it. This game is going to throw it all over the field,
Yeah.
and there's no even keel with me to where I can get both of them to work.
Right.
Now, when I just beat Meats last week,
Yeah.
Chubb had 100 and maybe 20 something yards, 3 touchdowns, and Baker went 11 for 11 for 140 yards. Even though I won, that's not the kind of game I like to win. I'll win the close ones,
Yeah.
but my wins in my head need to be all right. I need to be comfortable to say, all right, if I make this mistake, and I'll make them because I'm not the best Madden player,
Mm-hmm.
then I need a cushion
To
in
help.
case. Yeah, because I believe momentum in Madden is a real thing.
There you go. And I think
I, I,
that's a good segue. I think Raider fan, Field General, both talked about it. They think the game's rigged. I guess ZZ, I know, points out momentum being a thing. What's your thoughts? I know you just said you think momentum's real, but how much do you agree, disagree with what they said?
I do. I mean, to a point, there are things that they said that I do agree with, but I do think they left out the momentum part because if a team's driving and let's just say they're first and goal or second and goal, and first and goal gets them a run to the 1 yard line, then the defense is on their heels.
Yeah.
If something happens, let's just say there's a user interception, and then after I finish this, I'll go to the other end of that spectrum. There's a user interception, you take it back to the house, 105 yards for a touchdown. Momentum swinging that way in Madden because your defense plays. I don't know if anyone else has noticed it. Your defense plays harder. They cover the run a bit better. Your guys are diving for they don't usually dive for picks, but they'll swat the ball away at a more consistent rate. And if you go back down to score again, when it kind of goes to the, all right, maybe this tip interception shouldn't have happened. Because I look at a lot of tip picks,
Mm-hmm.
and I think this is what Field and Raider are getting at. If I throw to, let's say, Njoku, my tight end, and he's the only one that's jumping, the ball isn't going to be thrown that hard to where it's tipped in the air like that, and another defender comes. If he's tipping it, it shouldn't pop in the air 5 yards and then come down 2 yards over to my right, and a DB picks it and they're going to the house. That's the issue why I say those parts are scripted. To me, I think fumbles are a bit scripted as well. But to my original topic, momentum is real. I mean, take example your game.
Yeah.
Beat scored, and you had a quick. I don't even remember how he scored that first touchdown.
He had an 80-yard touchdown to that receiver.
Okay,
yeah.
To Holly, I remember now.
Yeah.
Quick strip sack.
Right.
Because I looked away for a second and I thought you fumbled the kickoff. And I was like, well, momentum's kicking in now. And right when you know it, hey, it's 21-21. I was like, wow. To me, and I'm not taking anything away from me, a lot of that strip sack was part of the momentum factor of Madden. You're down 21-0, you throw a big play to Hollywood, you're on the road, strip sack, boom, you're into the game.
So my opinion on it is I do agree there is momentum. I think in the NCAA games there actually was a momentum meter at the top of the scoreboard or something, and I don't know when they took that out or if it was out or if it was still in the game when they ended making those games. But I think if they added a momentum meter, it would at least take away some of the question mark on it, and if they embraced it and added that as a feature, and because it was like a tug of war thing, like, you know, it'd stay in the middle, but if you got a big play on defense, then it would swing your way, and then maybe a bad pass is more likely to happen. I'm talking small percentages, but it still makes an impact. Now, that being said, I think where they're wrong is, well, first I'll say this. I think they had said that certain teams are basically cursed before each cycle. Like,
yeah, that's what tinfoil hat.
you're right.
That's what
Because, in my opinion, yeah, I mean, because my issue with that is if it's a certain team that sucks, are the guys at the bottom of the standings every year just picking the bad teams, and the guys at the top of the standings every year just picking the right teams every year in and year out? Is that what it is? You know, like, how come Gov is always finishing 14-2? Is he that lucky to pick the Eagles and the Jaguars? You know, and I pick the Colts every year. So
yeah.
Also, but switching gears beyond that, I think there is momentum, but also people do get in their heads. This game is a mental game, and like I played against Meats, and I said in chat, he got tied up 21-21. I easily could have folded, done some stupid stuff, ran around, forced a pass, panicked, and done some stupid things, but didn't panic. And I think
you could have pressed and said, "Oh, I got to get this right back."
Right. So I think there is momentum in the game, which is fine because there's momentum in real life. But also I think people need to take more ownership of this, and just kind of
you're not losing because your team's cursed. You're losing because maybe your team's bad in certain areas, and the user exploits that.
right.
You're making bad decisions. There are times where, even with Baker, I'll throw it to Odell was wide open on a slant. Baker's failed. I almost lost my mind because Baker's got 92 short accuracy, 91 medium. Why did that pass fail?
Right.
Who knows? But that's the part of the argument that I'll agree with them on.
Right.
I'm not 500 and above with Cleveland because the game said, oh, Cleveland's going to be a great team this year, so they're going to be coded to win 8-8, 10-6, and possibly 9-7 this season.
Right.
game doesn't work that way.
Yeah, I mean, you hit it on the head. There's just so much question mark about it. I'm assuming the best answer is probably common sense that says maybe both sides are right on this one. It is a little rigged, but maybe not to the extent that that some
I agree with them to the point where they say that the game's coded for certain teams to lose. It's not.
so. Okay, I can agree with that. So moving on now, we talked about the Browns. You're in the AFC North, which is arguably the toughest division in the whole freaking league. You got yourself, Meats, and then the Steelers, and the Bengals is a solid player as well. What do you think about your division, and then beyond that, the AFC?
Let me tell you something about this division. It gets younger and younger every time you guys bring in a new player. I'm 43. My reaction time isn't as good as some of these kids or anything like that. I already had a hard time with Meat. Before this season, I had never beat Meats before.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm sorry. Last season we split, and we split again. So, well, I should say this Madden.
Yeah.
So I may be 2-4 against Meats all time, or 2-6, 2-8.
He'll correct you.
Yeah, he will. Um, the Bengals and the Steelers.
Yeah.
I beat them last year, but the team wasn't where they wanted it to be. And our games, one game would be a blowout, one game would be close. And in my head, I'm like, these guys are right there. And if they get who they want in free agency, or they turn that corner, then I could be in trouble from a skill standpoint.
Yeah.
And right now, you're seeing that with Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
Rowan hasn't kind of gotten there yet. I don't think he should ever trade at Ross, but that helped me out. Fine with it.
Yeah, you don't want to play him twice here.
Yeah, but Pittsburgh, Chrisman he's a great player.
He's a hell of a player. I've played him. He's a hell of a player. Silent. Go on.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, he's just a silent killer, is what I was going to say. Doesn't say a whole lot. Pops in chat, though. He does this thing. He's helping with power rankings, but not too cocky. Yeah. And he's doing it with Josh Rosen.
Yeah, exactly. And I played with Josh Rosen where NYT posted that punt return with and Rosen sells passes like I don't know. I hate that guy.
So Coop was onto something.
Yeah. He's a hell of a player, and he can pretty much diagnose a play from when he sees it when he's on defense. So I mean it's good, and with him, he makes me better because everyone knows, hey, he's going to Odell, so that's no secret.
Right.
But there are times he'll realize, oh well, he's baiting me with Odell. And he'll cover a in route with Landry, or he'll stick to a post route with Callaway. Mm-hmm. And that's when I really have to say, all right, he's on his P's and Q's today, which is good. It makes me better, and it gives me a better idea what kind of mind. But he's good, Rowan's good, and Meats is doing it with his team, and that's what I like to see. When a person gets the team that they love in real life. Yeah. And they translate it to Madden, then I can't be too mad at the fact that it's successful. I like that. That's good.
You hit that on the head. I know a Raider fan talked about it. Like I was going to be the Colts, obviously, this year. And it seems like people play better with the teams they like as well because they know the ins and outs. So people give him a lot of crap just because he is a Lamar Jackson-led Ravens. But I know he bleeds that purple and black or whatever colors they are through and through.
Yeah.
AFC as a whole, I'm not sure if you look too much at the playoff picture, but who do you think? What do you think about the playoff picture right now? Jaguars is in there. He's a tough opponent.
The Jaguars, wow. He's on a rampage.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened. I don't know if you DM'd him and say, hey, come on this redemption tour with me and let's let them. reign supreme, but he is kicking ass.
He is. People
And
people forget he made the AFC Championship in season 1.
yeah, he did. He did. He
So
had a down season last season, and I guess people just said, "Oh, well, maybe it was a fluke." But he's a good player. He's a very good player, and I can see him. Well, I'm pretty sure he's in now,
yeah.
but I can see him making noise.
Looking at the NFC, let's just talk about what everybody's eye probably is going to be on Week 17. You got the Panthers, Mike FML. He's one game up above Gramazins. Well, really only half a game because if he loses, Gramazins has the tiebreaker. Mike
Yep.
FML's playing the Atlanta Falcons and NYT. What do you think's going to happen with that game?
I know NYT. I've known him, good Lord, maybe 5 years now. He's gonna try and win that game.
Yeah.
He's gonna try and destroy
Just
Mike just because he's in his division.
yeah.
He wants to spoil it and to let him know, hey, going into next season, I have guys in this division.
Yeah. So and then you have Gramazins who's playing the Packers. He's playing Lawyer Killer. And Lawyer Killer's down year again. You guys both had a good year last year, and then you both dropped this year. But Lawyer Killer, he's still Lawyer Killer, and he can win any game. What do you think about that matchup? Did I lose you?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Repeat that last question.
Yeah. So looking at the other matchup, you have Gramazins playing Lawyer Killer of the Packers. Lawyer Killer's had a down year, but he's still Lawyer Killer at the end of the day. What do you think is going to happen with that matchup?
I think Grams wins that one. He's got Dak back. He doesn't have to be as conservative with passing the ball, which is what he likes to do. I can see him doing a good mix of the run and pass. I think he'll beat Lawyer maybe 27-20, 27-14, and that puts him in place for him to possibly get in if NYT can play spoiler.
So what's going to happen? Is NYT going to play spoiler?
I think he is.
Wow. Okay, so you're saying Grams gets in the playoffs?
I'm sorry, Mike. I think Grams is hot right now, and I think his momentum will carry him over, and I think Mike may be a little bit too pressed to try and make things happen against NYT and loses that game. I mean, I watched part of their other game. His first 2 quarters, he threw 4 picks.
Yeah.
So I think he'll probably be a little bit more conservative, try to put the game in CMC's hands, and let's see if that works. But I think the way NYT blitzes, it's running like that kind of plays in the NYT's hands.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens. It's going to be fun. Now, final 2 questions here. What is your dream Super Bowl matchup, and what's actually going to be the matchup, and who's going to win the whole thing?
My dream Super Bowl matchup is what I actually think will happen, and it's going to shock everyone. Future versus Prime.
Yeah, that'll be a fun one.
A battle of old AFC South foes, and man, to call this one, I think you edge them out 27-24.
Future is a heck of a player, man. If I had to pick between 2 players I'd want to play in a Super Bowl, it's either Gov or Future. Obviously, Gov, I want to stick it to him for other reasons, but Future is man, we've just gone back and forth for years. He beat me earlier in the season too, so I'm looking for some redemption on that end.
I remember when I first got into the league, and I was quietly going 11-5, and I was like, man, I can probably make some noise. And I looked at you guys.
Yeah.
It was so crazy because it was going back and forth, and you guys, you could tell you played each other a lot
Mm-hmm.
because you needed a score, right? 30 seconds, you would score. 45 seconds later, he's scoring. I'm like, this game's not going to end. I think you had finally won that game. I think maybe he fumbled and you ran it and then kicked the field goal to finish it off. But I'll always remember that game because it was good, and I was like, well, it's a good level of competition here. But I think it'll be you in future,
Yeah.
and I think you had about 27-24.
Man, that'll be a dream matchup. I think that'd be a good one. I've got AFC. I would like to see a matchup of Meats and Gov. If I'm not in it, Meats and Gov I think would be a good one, or Meats and Future as well too. I want to see Future Empire win a Sembardi this cycle. If I don't win one, I want to see Future Empire do it. So
With Meats and Gov,
yeah,
and not to take anything away from Gov, if he doesn't hurt Lamar, then I think Meats has the advantage
really.
in that game. Yes.
So
Lamar's fast enough because if Fletcher instantly block sheds, Meats is pretty good at kind of sniffing that stuff out.
right,
If he's taking off, that's already 20 yards.
right. Yeah, that's true. So, at what point does
That first reason
go on?
go ahead.
Oh well, I was gonna say, at what point does Meats? I guess this is my final question. Meats become? I feel like he's not respected. He's an elite player, but he's not getting the respect he deserves. When you look at people ranking teams, it's always me, it's always Gov. When does Meats get that top echelon? Does he have to win a Super Bowl to do it?
You know what I think? I'm going to say yes and no. A lot of people, and I don't even think it's a lot of people, certain guys are. Meats has Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
He has a 96 speed, 90 probably 6 acceleration quarterback who can run like a running back. He's
Right.
got 93 throw power, 92 short, 90 mid, 84 deep.
Right.
A lot of people think of, well, that's automatically a cheat code.
Right.
So I think that's probably where some of the disrespect comes from. Like, well, he's got it. He's got this. But he still had to do certain things with that team.
Right.
No way in hell I thought Meats would draft Golden.
Yeah.
I thought somebody that actually needed a running back would.
Right.
They let Golden fall to the 20 something.
Right.
pick.
He fell.
Yeah, I was like, wow, why is this guy falling? I was like, maybe I should have took him. But I've got Hunt and Chubb, so I didn't need him.
Mm-hmm.
And in my head, he had Justice Hill and
He had Mark Ingram for a while there.
yeah. And I was like, well, he won't go running back this season. Well, he did, and it's paying off.
Mm-hmm.
And see, it's decisions like that help him out. And even last Madden, he had the Giants.
Yeah.
I mean, he did well with that team. Never had a quarterback.
Right. Yeah, he had like a freaking 100 overall quarterback by the time the season, by the time the cycle was
He
over.
drafted one in season 2,
Mm-hmm.
but he still made the playoffs.
Yeah.
Season 1.
Right.
So I mean, he's a good player.
Yeah.
I know we like to give him shit for having Lamar, but he's.
Yeah. All right, man. I think we're around 25 minutes right now. If people are still
Field range.
Yeah, exactly. So we don't want to go to 40 minutes, so I think this is a good stopping point. The mic is yours.
SML coming up on playoff time. let's have some good games. Let's not have any blowouts. Let's be competitive. And for those of us not making the playoffs, let's look towards the draft. If you can't afford it, let's look towards some free agency and keep going and see if we can get in there next.
All right, guys. That was Woods, our Cleveland Browns owner. I'm Primetime000, commissioner of the SML. Thanks for listening. Once again, that was the Nostradamus of the SML making his predictions. Thanks for listening. You guys, take it easy.